Goes wide. Now Bedard again. And he scores. What a play! He hooked it in over his head. I don't believe what I just saw.
We just saw an 18-year-old rookie do the Michigan like it was just another day in the office for him. That right there is ridiculous. The NHL as a whole this week has been complete chaos, and it's been awesome. So let's dive into everything that's happened so far. Obviously, let's start with Connor Bedard breaking the hockey internet last night by scoring this ridiculous Michigan goal against the St. Louis Blues. He picks up the rim off the boards, scoops the puck, and just tucks it upstairs with ease. Regardless of what you think about Bedard and the amount of hype around him, he's been absolutely spectacular so far on a horrible Blackhawks team. He's got 30 points in 33 games as an 18-year-old, and he's only going to get stronger and more confident in his ability to impact the game at this level. That's a scary thought when you consider that he already has enough confidence to pull off a move like this in his rookie season. Now, literally an hour after Bedard did that, Trevor Zegras decided to one-up the kid and pull off a Michigan goal of his own, and I just know John Tortorella is somewhere right now absolutely losing his mind. The fact that we're at a point in NHL hockey right now where we're getting these types of goals in the same night is just a testament to the level of skill, confidence, and creativity that the modern day NHL has to offer. Now, the talent alone was enough to create chaos, but Florida and Vegas took it to another level this week in a heated battle on Saturday. In a rematch of last year's Stanley Cup final, both of these teams still have bad blood for each other. Last year, Kolesar injured Tkachuk with this monster hit, so Ryan Lomberg decided to one-punch Kolesar and send a message in this game. The rough stuff didn't end there, as Paul Cotter decided to grab Tkachuk here and give him a good old German suplex to make sure he got the message. Chaos obviously ensued, fists were thrown, but ultimately the Panthers would take the game 4-2. Now, no one is ever happy with NHL officiating, but this week specifically, it seems like players are deciding to really let the refs hear it. First, you have Eric Johnson just getting the wires crossed here in the box after getting a misconduct after a fight. Then Nick Seeler of the Flyers felt the same as well after he got into a scrap and disagreed with the ref's call. Here you can see him politely telling the ref that he got the call wrong and wishing him a Merry Christmas in the process. Now, this Flyers and Red Wings game was absolute insanity from start to finish as well, as after jumping to a 5-1 lead thanks to a 2-goal performance from Patrick Kane, the Red Wings looked like they were fully in control, but the Flyers don't give up and they came all the way back to take a 6-5 lead. Of course, Detroit would come back and tie it up, force OT, 3-on-3 wouldn't solve anything, and that would ultimately lead to Patrick Kane sealing the game for the Wings in the shootout and saving the Red Wings bacon from a colossal meltdown. Quick thoughts on Kane and the Red Wings. They haven't had a lot of team success since he's got there, but that certainly isn't because of him. A lot of people doubted whether or not he could come back and even be a fraction of the player he once was. But with 10 points in 10 games, he's been great since signing with the Wings. All the Red Wings need to do now is just win a couple games so that we can see Kane healthy in the playoffs once again. As for the Flyers, the fact that they even came back in this one speaks volumes of the type of team they are this season. They aren't pretty, but they are always in the fight, and for a team that was supposed to be rebuilding, they're one of the pleasant surprises this season, and it's making for some chaotic games like this one. In Canada, the Canucks and Jets continue to be wagons. The Jets are 8-1-1 in their last 10, and the team has completely bought into Rick Bowness' system. A standout player for them is Gabriel Velarde, who's on a tear with 12 points in his last 5 games as they continue to roll heading into the new year. The Canucks are also following suit as they look like they can be right in the mix for the President's Trophy. With the way that last season ended, who would have thought that the Canucks would be one of, if not the best team in the league this season? JT Miller, Quinn Hughes, and Elias Pettersson have all taken their games to the next level, and right now the Canucks are reaping the benefits because of it. Now, we can't forget about the Leafs, who this week were voted the most hated team around the league among fan bases. That right there is one hell of an achievement, and it should make for good entertainment as we check in on the Leaf Cup Parade tracker. After a loss to the Rangers and an absolute spanking to the Sabres, the Cup Parade was indeed cancelled, especially after Jeff Skinner decided to chirp Max Domi about his teeth. Ilya Samsonov struggled big time and was visibly shaken up after he was pulled, and the entire night from top to bottom was an embarrassment for the Leafs as Matthews said afterwards that it is probably his worst game that he's ever been a part of. Now, luckily for Leafs Nation, Austin Matthews is sick of hearing the parade get cancelled, and so he's decided to become the best goal scorer in the world again. The guy notched his 27th and 28th of the season against Columbus on Saturday to officially reinstate the parade, and he's on pace for a ridiculous 77 goals on the season. We will likely do a full breakdown on his game this week, so keep an eye out on the channel for that in the next few days. The Colorado Avalanche have been a really weird team to follow this season. They are obviously cup contenders, but they've had some odd locker room things happen in the past few weeks. First, Mikko Rantanen called out a reporter over in Finland for criticizing his play. It might not seem like a big deal, but it turns out that reporter is actually his teammate Arturi Lehkonen's father. So basically, Rantanen was telling his teammate's dad to watch how he runs his mouth in the media. Then you got Devon Toews publicly calling out the Avs, saying that some guys are kidding themselves if they think they're playing as well as they are after a loss to Chicago. And then on top of all of this, you still have Nathan MacKinnon putting up an MVP season by dominating night in and night out while holding an 18-game point streak. While it might seem like a lot of drama on the outside, I do think that this is a former Stanley Cup winning team and core that holds themselves to a really high standard. Right now they're without captain Gabriel Landeskog, who is out for the season, but this team is still finding a way to be among the NHL's best despite all the drama. Now this week, we also got one of the more chaotic endings in a game between the Nashville Predators and the Dallas Stars. The Preds held a 2-1 lead for a majority of the third period, but the game started off with this ridiculous goal line save from Roman Josi, where he makes a huge glove save on the line. That wasn't even the craziest part, as the Stars would become the first NHL team to score a game-tying and go-ahead goal in the final 15 seconds of regulation to steal the game from Nashville. Crazy ending to this one, but the Stars remain my sleeper in the West as they sit first in the Central after this dub. The Caps find themselves slugging it out for a playoff spot despite Ovi going on an unprecedented goal-scoring slump of 14 games before this match against Columbus. This one would head to OT, but not before goaltender Elvis Merzlikins would absolutely lose it on Tom Wilson after he crashed into the net. Merzlikins was convinced that Wilson was trying to hurt him, so he took matters into his own hands, but ultimately he would take a penalty for jumping Wilson before OT. The Caps go on the power play, and Ovi breaks the goalless drought with this wrister, setting up potentially the coldest photo of all time, with every Capital chirping Merzlikins after the goal. That right there is an all-time picture. Now, Ovi might be struggling this year, but Sid the middle-aged man is still playing like the kid he once was. The guy has 35 points in 32 games, and he's just carrying a mid-Pens team that just cannot find any consistency. They are still in the doghouse in the Eastern Conference, and it's hard to imagine where this team would be if Crosby actually lost a step this season. Taking a quick peek at the standings, the Rangers and the Canucks leap over the Knights, who are hitting a little bit of a speed wobble here as of late. And at the bottom are the teams who only draft players who score Michigan goals, of course, alongside my future Cup champs in the San Jose Sharks. Kucherov is still giving the league the middle finger by leading the NHL with 57 points. Meanwhile, Austin Matthews is starting to separate from the pack by having 28 goals in his pursuit for the Rocket. So, what did you think about this week? What player and team impressed you the most? Who do you think is underrated, overrated? Let us know in the comments down below. And a quick thank you to all of you who have supported the channel as of late. We've seen a massive jump in subscribers since introducing these weekly reviews, and the interaction with all of you in the comments have made it a blast. We're so close to 100K, which is unbelievable. So feel free to hit that subscribe button, help us get to that goal. And if you want to see some of our deeper breakdowns from this week, click on any of the videos right here to see more.